think he said he was coming.
He doesn't say anything.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the personnel meeting for February 19th, 2019. We'll start by opening the meeting with Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Item number 2, minutes from our last meeting for January 15th, 2019. Has everybody had an opportunity to read them?
Yes, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as they have been presented.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next set of meetings, minutes was for February 7th, 2019. Has everybody had a chance to read that?
And I'll also make a motion to accept those minutes as they appear.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. No appointments and resignations, no citizens' comments. Old business, wage study. I'd like wait till Greg comes back before we discuss that one, so why don't we go to the next item, which is the library director. The library has hired a new director, Drusilla Carter, and she starts tomorrow. And I thought we might give her tomorrow to get in the door and get her, find out where her desk is and all that kind of stuff. And I think she's already done part of that. I think she's met everybody in town hall. We have to give her orientation. And Lorna would like to be part of that. And Joan, would you like to be part of that also?
Yeah, well, we decided that at the last meeting,
Who would participate?
Lana and I.
Okay, that'd be great. When you have a date and a time, would you please let me know so I can possibly sit in and take part in that for at least the beginning of it anyway?
I'm free tomorrow. That's Wednesday, right? Thursday is iffy.
Pardon me? I didn't hear.
Thursday is iffy.
Is iffy, the day is iffy, yes, right. I'm available on Friday at some time, or I'm available anytime next week.
I'm available Friday except for 10:30 to 11:30.
Okay, do you want to contact her to set up a time if it's a time suitable for her?
Yeah, Carol can,
And then you can
Contact.
text me?
yep.
All right, that'll be great, or email me, rather.
And me included. This is the new, Greg, the new director's orientation. Okay, we'll go back to the wage study. Rachel McDonald has started. She's extremely intelligent, very nice young lady. That's a credit to her family and the school. Rose, you want to talk a little bit about her start?
Yes, we met with her. I didn't meet with her this past Wednesday, but the week before we did. And she has started, and she was looking over the situation to see what she would start to do and how she would go about that. And I think she has tried to get in touch with you, has she?
Yeah, we're going to get together this Wednesday.
And
Tomorrow.
she seems like she's on her way, knows what she's doing, knows what she wants to do. And we are scheduled to have a meeting with her next month. So our meeting of the Personnel Board will not be on Tuesday next month, but on Wednesday. And she'll bring us up to date on what she has been doing.
Yeah, that meeting, I asked to have that rescheduled so that she can make a presentation to the full board and to Greg, because I want the board and Greg to be constantly updated on the progress to make sure that we're going in the right direction. We do have a copy of her checklist of what her projects are and pretty much her goals and objectives. So it's my intentions to make sure that she starts with goal and objective number 1 and works right down the line. Hopefully, she'll give us an update. It'll give us another 4 weeks for her to get started, and she'll give us an update on the 13th. She works Wednesdays from 9 to 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That works out for every other Wednesday for Greg to stay in touch with her to make sure that we constantly stay in the right direction. Any questions on that? Okay.
Just for a matter of information, could we have a copy of what her goals and objectives are?
Oh, absolutely, of course.
Okay.
Yep.
I would be interested in knowing what we have set up for her as far as
Sure.
her task.
I'll give you a copy of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Unfortunately, I guess Carol's not here. I hope she's okay. Personnel database. In your package, there is a blank copy of the database that includes the employee's name, address, phone number, emergency contacts, emergency phone, the date of hire, department and position that they work in, their step and grade, their hourly rate, hours per work week, weekly salary or yearly salary. There's also a checklist of forms that they've had to fill out, such as sexual harassment agreement, domestic violence, employees' performance appraisals, their self-performance appraisals. So every employee now has this in the database. So when somebody needs some information, they don't have to go hunting for 6 or 7 different pieces of paper. It's all on one sheet of paper, and it's on the computer, and department heads can have access to the people that are working for them. So I think Carol did a good job on that, and I think it's something that was needed.
So, point of information, Peter, this is public information. Anybody can look at this within the town?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Certain things under statute are exempt from disclosure.
Evaluation?
Evaluations, the person's home address and contact information, so the public doesn't have access to
But
that.
they have access to their salary and their hourly salary?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
I would expect that evaluations are not.
They're not, like you said, and personal information related to where you live is also not something that we disclose.
But this is on the right here, this is just check off whether or not they signed the paper. It's
Yes.
not the actual evaluation.
No, it's whether they've had them. Yes. Okay, under new business, employee handbook policy revisions.
Mr. Chair, has everyone received a copy of the document, or would you like me to hand it out?
Email, yes.
Does anyone need a copy?
I would like one just to refresh.
Yes, please. Thank you.
So the purpose of the recommended changes is to clarify some items in the employee handbook related to merit increases and pay adjustments. Under merit increases, the language that I wish to add is to put in that eligibility is based upon the employee completing his or her objectives during the preceding full fiscal year. And one of the issues that we ran across in the most recent round of merit increases, there are employees that were here for a very short period of time, and they felt slighted that they didn't receive a merit increase. People that were here for 2 or 3 months felt as though they would be entitled to a significant increase. I sat down and I met with them, and one of the things that came out of it is that we provide language that clarifies their eligibility for an increase, and that's what the intent of this is. The second piece is the item that you had asked me to look into previously in terms of what we have for a pay adjustment policy. And now that the town administrator bylaw is been approved by town meeting and approved by Attorney General, I put in language that said that there'd be a new section called pay adjustments to be added to the pay and benefits section, which says that the Personnel Board may consider requests for pay adjustments upon recommendation of the Personnel Director. Pay adjustments shall consider the employee's compensation rate in comparison to comparable communities. The Personnel Director shall require a compensation survey to be completed as part of a pay adjustment request. Employees receiving pay adjustments shall be ineligible for merit increases in the fiscal year that the adjustment comes effective. And again, the last language has come out of this whole discussion about merit increases, that people feel as though they get a significant bump and they want another bump through the merit increases. We want to kind of have some control over that, that if you receive a pay adjustment, that's fantastic, but it doesn't mean that you're also going to receive a merit increase on top of that. Keep in mind that employees already receive cost of living increases. They become eligible for merit increases. Typically, the merit increases are in the 1% to 2% range, and on occasion, department heads will come to you and request that there be a pay adjustment, and that's what the intent of this to do, is to bring a position, recognize responsibilities or change in responsibilities, and then require it. The only other thing, that language I would think about adding is revised job description in addition to a salary comparison is probably something that you want to see. But the Personnel Director should be the gatekeeper. So that person, whoever the Personnel Director will be, should be satisfied that the request has merit before it comes to your board. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to achieve here.
Okay.
That's my thought. I'm happy to answer any questions you have on either of the two items.
So Greg, the only question I have is that if we have somebody now doing a survey to make sure that our wages are in line with other communities, is that part necessary to have the director do that if we were going to have current information as to where that is, or can they just draw from the information she had to relate that to us?
Yeah, I think the kind of the global study of everybody is different than this. Mm-hmm. This is the request that you've gotten over the last 2, 3, 4 years, where department heads will come into you individually and want to ask you to increase someone's pay. And as we know, it's becoming a more frequent occurrence. And so that's what this is intended to address, is those individual requests that come to you. And the language on the full fiscal year, again, the only alternative that I could think to that was they'd be considered, if someone was here for, say, 6 months, they'd be considered for a prorated merit increase based upon 6 months of service. Mm-hmm. So if the recommendation of the study committee or the subcommittee was to give them a 2% increase, a prorated share of 6% would be, 6 months would be 1%. I didn't get into that because I thought that was kind of splitting hairs, but we really need clarification, because what happened was the merit increases got announced at the Board of Selectmen's meeting. So what had been a very smooth, seamless process for 4 years came under fire when I was on vacation, and I came back a week ago today to an absolute firestorm where people were angry about pay increases. And I hadn't seen that, and that's why these things got put together.
So you're saying there's a possibility that somebody, because of when they are hired and when we look at their evaluations, they would have thought they could have had an increase before they even had their first evaluation with the department?
Correct.
Okay, that makes complete sense, that you'd want that to have that protection.
Correct. And again, eligibility is you can't have a cost of living increase, a merit increase, and a pay adjustment in the same year. It seems logical to me, but it doesn't necessarily seem logical to everyone that I had conversations with.
I think it's perfect that it comes through a personnel director before it gets to us.
It really should. It should.
They're here every day, so they know more or less what the person does.
I can honestly say I felt bad for Greg when he came back from vacation. He came back to a smoking office.
There's nothing worse than people who are angry about receiving a pay increase.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, that's the worst thing that you can ever face, is that people got a pay increase and they're mad at you. And I'll tell you, that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Were you aware that happened?
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry that you had to face that coming back.
Yeah, I didn't expect it.
Well, I think I probably had about 100 phone calls
Yeah,
at the same time. Hello?
When I
but-
first started here, you had to be here a year before you got any increase. Not even cost of living.
I mean, hey, I like to use the analogy, I started my career in July 11th, way back when, and it required you to be here as of July 1st to be considered for a vacation. So I worked 50 weeks and with no eligibility for vacation, and it wasn't then on July 1 of the next year that I got 1 week. Them were the good old days.
There's some good that came out of this because we've revised the policy and we clarified the language so that next year there shouldn't be any questions whatsoever.
Well, I think we need a motion to accept this, correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to make that motion that we accept these changes be added to our pay benefits section of the employee handbook.
Could I make a suggestion?
Correct.
That you also include, under the pay adjustment language, that you put in compensation survey and revised job description.
I will make that motion to reflect those additions.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Vote was unanimous. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your work, Greg.
The vacation euphoria wore off pretty quick there.
Personal director's comments?
We have to do regrade policy?
I don't have a copy in
All
that in
right, so
front of me.
I think the pay adjustment
Is the regrade
is the
policy?
regrade
Okay,
policy.
regrade.
fine.
So I think that addresses the regrade policy in its
Okay.
entirety also.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Just the application process is continuing for the town administrator's position. So, applications will close on March 1st. So you'll receive copies of all applications on that date. Things are going well. I try to keep myself removed from the process. And it's likely that the selectmen will go forward with an article for town meeting to create a Department of Public Works. And the interest to the Personnel Board will be, there'll be a non-union position created for a Director of Public Works. So what it would do is it would consolidate the Highway Division and the Water and Sewer Division under one single director. It would require a vote of town meeting and then what's called a Special Legislative Act. So that's something that gets approved by town meeting and then gets approved by, and signed into law by the governor. So, not unusual, but typically when you go through these type of change of form of government, that's what you go through. And then that would kind of, if that is approved, would begin the clock to hiring a Public Works Director. So the study that came before the selectmen said that there would be a director, and then there would be foremen under the Highway and Water and Sewer Divisions that would be responsible for the rank and file members. So that's what came out of it. It was well received by the board, it was accepted by the board, and I think we'll go forward for Springtown meeting.
So that will be a warrant on the town
Yeah,
meeting?
it will be.
If I could go back and ask a question or two about the process for finding a new administrator. The Personnel Board has done it in several different ways. We will all read the resumes, and in the past, we have selected the top 4, and then we kind of pool each our selections to see, did we have similar names, or do we have the same names? Do you want us to do that
Yeah,
process?
I think that works, Peter. That's exactly what we'd be looking for.
Okay, all right. As far as the job applications, will we be getting, each be getting a copy of those applications?
Yes.
Or do you want us to read them in?
No, we'll forward them to you. Most of the people are submitting their applications electronically now.
Yes.
So it's rare that we receive a paper copy. They send us an email. They go to Michelle. I don't, like I said, I don't receive them. They go directly to Michelle, and she keeps a file of them.
Okay. After we make our selections and recommendations of the top 4, 5, whatever the number is going to be, it's my understanding that we submit those to the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen will then look at our recommendations. We will be doing interviews of those 4 and 5.
It's up to this board as to whether you wish to do that. You certainly have that ability, Peter, if you want to.
So we have that ability, and that could help further screen the process, or we can send our recommendations directly to the Board of Selectmen. I will leave that up to the board's pleasure when that time comes. Also, it is my understanding that it is very possible that the Board of Selectmen might want to look at all the applications. And they might decide out of the applications that we choose, well, maybe we'll look at all and make another selection or 2, but the ultimate decision makers will be the Board of Selectmen. Okay. I do know that there is a in-house candidate that will be turning in his application. Normally, in the past, we interview in-house people first, and then we go outside, but in this case, since we posted it internally and externally, I think an internal candidate certainly needs to be looked at and have some consideration for application. And then we'll take it from there and see what happens. Everybody will be treated exactly the same. Any questions on that?
Wish you well.
I do still have, I want to go back to the Public Works
Yeah.
Director. So I just want to get in my mind straight the schema. There will be a Public Works Director, and under that person, there'll be somebody for the hired, that will manage the Highway Department and the Sewer Department and
Yes,
Water and
so-
Sewer Department? Is that the way it's going to look?
So, one person responsible for the day-to-day management of the highway department, which will be a foreman.
Right.
And then one person for working the water and sewer department. So one single position
Okay.
for water and sewer. And then the plan assumes that there's gonna be some integration and cross-training between the two
All right.
departments.
That clarifies it better for me. Thank you.
Would that be union, or would that be?
So I think that we already have foreman position in the water, sewer, and highway departments, and so they are union, and there's no reason to think otherwise. They'll be responsible for the day-to-day workflow of making sure that people get their jobs done, but management will be your DPW director. I have to assume that it'll stay the same.
Thanks.
So big times for the town.
Now, there'll be public hearings.
Yeah, so the selectmen have exactly stated that they will hold a public hearing on this. So before it gets on the warrant, we'll have a hearing, and there'll be an opportunity for everyone to come in and express a position pro or con.
Yeah.
And then we still have a water commissioner board
Yeah.
and a sewer commission
Yeah,
board?
so the recommendation of the consultants is to do exactly that, so that there would still be an elected water and sewer commission, and there would still, and the selectmen are the road commissioners under the law, so those would continue. But it would define what the responsibility and the role of the water and sewer commissioners are, and it would give them a fairly narrow focus in terms of their responsibilities.
Okay. Any comments from board members? Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We have a full plate ahead of us. We have a lot of responsibility and important responsibilities. And I do know that this board takes these goals and objectives that we have very, very seriously, and we will work hard together and well together to make sure we accomplish those goals and objectives.
One other question. The commissioners will, how do I want to put this? The commissioners will be the boss of the foreman, and the foreman will come under the direction of the person, the clerk of works. Is that correct?
So, you're talking about water and sewer?
Um,
So the boss of all staff will be the DPW director,
Right.
who reports to the town administrator and the board of selectmen. The water and sewer commissioners will have a role as it relates to adoption of the water and sewer department budget, water and sewer rates, and approval of the water and sewer department capital improvement plan. But the report doesn't have them involved in the day-to-day operation of the department. So they don't, quote-unquote, won't be hiring staff.
If there are no other comments or anything else to be added, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn? Oh, more
Yes.
comments?
I'll second, but first, you should announce that the next meeting is going to be
Oh,
on.
yes, yes. I apologize for that. The next meeting will be March 13th. It's a Wednesday. And Rachel will be invited to make her presentation. There'll be a regular meeting. The vice chair will chair the meeting. I will be on vacation in sunny country.
Nice.
I think it's important that Rachel, and also that Rachel makes her presentation. It'll be on TV. She's done presentations before. She's very, very capable, but I think she needs to make sure we're on track and we're going in the right direction. I'll make sure you get the copy of the goals and objectives, or goals and objectives. Hopefully, this won't take too long. She's working like 5 hours a week. She's done quite a bit already, at least with the charting of wages and salaries, and we'll get it done. We'll get it done smoothly. Okay, I've had a second.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.